Hello and welcome fellow fans of the amazing webtoon series of Solo Leveling. Now I'm sure we are all eagerly waiting for the return of season 2, but whilst we're waiting for that to return, I thought I'd recommend 7 webtoons that are like Solo Leveling that I think you guys would enjoy reading rather than refreshing the page hopelessly every Wednesday. No, just me. Anyways, let us get into things. Now I'm going to start with my absolute number 1 on this list of Kill the Hero, as it's literally a copy and paste of Solo Leveling, but I in no ways mean this in a bad way, because if we enjoy everything about Solo Leveling, now the webtoon that uses the same successful formula I think is great. So our story begins with the world transforming into a game where dungeons and monsters emerge in the middle of cities. Thus, people are granted the power of God's authority that turns them into players that have the power to defeat the game. Because of these special powers players have, they realize that they have a sense of authority and dominance over the world as society is reliant on them closing the dungeons. But our MC, being a morally just person, thought he finally found a guild whose goal is to defeat the game in order to end the corruptness going on with players. However, our MC is betrayed by his trusted guildmates, who actually never had any intention of ending the game, as their secret ambition is to rule the world. But obviously our MC reincarnates back to the past before he awakens as a player, and this time it is his turn to get revenge. Now there are obviously reasons as to why I enjoy this as much as Solo Leveling, as the standout point is that it's got much more of an ominous vibe due to the premise of the story being about corrupt players. There's a fair bit of political gameplay between guilds, so the battle isn't necessarily always on the battlefield, but don't worry, when fights occur they are equally as epic. We follow a similar progression style as Solo Leveling, with our MC having a game-like system that helps him with skills, levels, and items. If you like the whole necromancy skill, this webtoon has that covered, but in a different style which does keep it refreshingly different. Overall, Kill the Hero has everything we like about Solo Leveling whilst adding its own unique style to things, so I can guarantee you will enjoy it. If you like characters that give zero shits cause they be such a boss, then check out Ranker Who Lives a Second Time. Yeonwoo, our protagonist, had a twin brother who disappeared 5 years ago. He one day then receives a diary which reveals his twin brother falling victim to betrayal whilst climbing up the Tower of the Sun God. Yeonwoo thus decides to climb the tower with his brother's diary to get vengeance on those who betrayed him. So a bit of a different premises than Solo Leveling, no reincarnation aspect, as it is more about our MC having the cheat sheet of climbing the tower from his brother's diary. The aspect of his personality being cold-hearted is well played into some comedic aspects, but I also enjoyed the life lessons he learns of warming up to trustworthy people and making good comrades. In a fluent way, this webtoon shows the true importance of relationship. Oh, and this is probably one of the only webtoons I've read where the babes are not only hot, but useful and not completely fucking annoying. The progression of the story is a bit different, as it is more of a point-based system where you can complete certain games like PvP to gain points to climb to the next level of the tower. But we still have our familiar game-like announcements in which our MC can unlock certain skills, yes, like necromancy. Definitely give this one a shot if you enjoy determined protagonists that will stop at nothing to get their revenge. Okay, if these recommendations so far have been a little bit too dark and serious for you guys, how about something a bit troll yet equally as epic? Dungeon Reset follows our MC who is forcefully summoned to an unknown world called the Dungeon, where you will die if you don't follow the rules of the dungeon told by very angry yet cute bunny rabbits. Yeah, getting the troll vibes yet? Thus our journey begins of surviving the dangerous games of the dungeon, but that is short-lived by our weak MC whose only powers is to purify things, which is the power to clean dirty things. Yeah, because of this our MC falls into a trap and dies. The end. Obviously not. With this being a reincarnation webtoon, our MC suddenly revives, but his surroundings of the dungeon have all reset, but his stats have not. Okay, all in all, this webtoon has everything we like about Solo Leveling, like a weak MC growing stronger through a game-like progression system. I will say the different aspect of Dungeon Reset is that the skills are troll as fuck, but because our MC started off with what seemed like such a useless skill of Purify, he was able to make the best use out of these skills. Without spoiling it too much, if you like Minecraft, you're gonna like this one. The best thing about this webtoon is how freaking troll yet serious everything is. Since we're in a life or death situation within the dungeon, there's always that ominous setting, but our MC just handles the situations like a smartass and takes the absolute piss about him being a bug player within the dungeon. Invest into this one for the long run, as personally I didn't get into it at first as I thought the start was a little bit slow, but once you get into it, you'll not only love our smartass of an MC, but appreciate the depictions of the struggles a weak character has to go through and the true journeys in becoming strong. Now, continue with the comedic themes, the next webtoon I would recommend is Tomb Raider King. The Guard's Tomb, which are like dungeons, start to appear around the world. If you are able to defeat the Guard's Tomb's mischievous puzzles, challenges, and games, you get the opportunity to wield relics, which hold immense amount of legendary power for yourself. We follow the journey of a reincarnated Tomb Raider who will do whatever it takes to claim all the tombs and relics of the world for himself. This is honestly exactly like solo leveling, just with tombs instead of dungeons and relics instead of skills. Our protagonist is also a bit more spunky because each relic has a personality of their own, as relics in terms are based off the country's mythology. This makes for some really funny relics. Yes, relics do talk, but for example, there is a rope relic, and yeah, it's a pervert, so gets the good tingles when it can BDSM tie people up. So trust me, you're going to have a good time reading about the interactions between our relics and Tomb Raiders. Since our protagonist's goal is to become the ultimate Tomb Raider with all the relics in his possession, he screws a lot of other Tomb Raiders over. And I don't know why, but this aspect was hella satisfying, probably because he is always 2 steps ahead of everyone, so he just radiates a "do I look like I give 2 shits" of a vibe. If you enjoy mythologies along with a cocky yet witty MC, Tomb Raider King will be right up your alley. Okay, this next recommendation is going to be set within a different style world to solo leveling, but trust me, there is a reason why it is on this list. The beginning after the end starts the story off with King Grey, who is unrivaled in strength, wealth, and prestige. However, beneath the glamorous exterior of a powerful king lurks the shell of a man devoid of purpose and will. He is therefore given another chance, reincarnating into a new world filled with magic and monsters. The king, now known as an energetic baby Arthur, plans to live this life correcting his past mistakes. So this does start off a bit differently, as our character has lived what seemed like a great life as a king, now reincarnating into a baby who has all of their past memories. So you're definitely going to experience the world's most wise, OP, and mature baby. The world itself is based on auras, so has more of a magical vibe than a game progression interface. Personally, I enjoyed the more fantasy vibe to things, as there are different races, creatures, and depending on your aura's strength, you can manipulate different elements, kind of like spells. This leads to some insane as battles, perfectly coordinated with the slick as art style, but as there's no limitation to what powers you can face, really adds to the excitement to things. King Grey's biggest regret was living a life of solitude, so there's a real importance of relationship within this webtoon. This is indeed different from most of our cold-hearted MCs, as Arthur, our protagonist, really works to protect his family and form unbreakable relationships. But don't worry, even though we have an extensive amount of characters, they each have their level of uniqueness to them, and so no interaction between characters seem unnecessary, but you will actually come to enjoy the way Arthur starts slowly changing and developing through these new formed relations. So if you love magic within a fantasy-like world, along with a character who isn't all that perfect and strives to better himself, I highly recommend The Beginning After the End. This one is so troll, yet epic, and is probably the funniest one on this list of the survival records of the Sword King in another world. Our MC is suddenly teleported to another world with a mysterious figure announcing that they are the chosen one. But during his teleportation, we also hear the mysterious figure say, "Oops, I think I made a mistake. It looks like there's an error with the guidelines." And of course, that error occurred on our MC. This causes our MC to be stuck within the first 5 levels of this game-like world. Whereas most players will progress to the next stage of the game, a boy is forever stuck within the starting zone due to the error with his guidelines. Through the multiple years, our MC gets up to level 5, but then is reset back to the starting zone at level 1. Oddly enough though, his stats do not reset and only his levels do. I think this webtoon follows the most game-like feature, as levels are extremely important, hence why MC only being level 5 is a meme. For example, to use the fridge or the toilet, you have to be at least level 10. So even though MC is extremely OP, he can't do simple things like getting food out of the fridge. This paints quite the odd picture, because as you can see, you have this massive buff guy walking around, yet everyone ridicules him for being only level 5. If you enjoy One Punch Man and Saitama's character of being overly OP yet really dopey, our MC is similar to that. But I should mention, since our MC is secretly beyond OP, this creates the most insane large-scale battles. Make sure to give this one at least a couple of chapters to to see if it's your style or not, but trust me, there's some great characters to meet along with a dark overriding plot to investigate. Now my lucky last recommendation is A Returner's Magic Should Be Special. This follows the story of our protagonist who has returned to the past after experiencing the most catastrophic existence humanity has faced of the Shadow World. Returning back to the time when he enrolled at the nation's finest magical academy, he is reunited with his precious friends whom he all witnessed meet their demise in the Shadow World. 3 years remain before the emergence of the Shadow World. 3 years to prepare, gather powerful comrades to change the past and save mankind. Majority of the story is set within an academy where MC has a bit of a cheat sheet in how to level up his friends so that they become stronger. There is no game-like system but focuses more on each individual's unique magical powers. To tease it a bit, there is quite the babe of a character that has some insane ice magic. Our MC of course has the weakest power, but because of his extensive knowledge of magical circles, he is able to make the magic creatively OP. This nonetheless creates some amazing magical battles, and the crisp art style adds to the epicness. Now the journey within the school is no easy one, as society is divided between nobility and commoners. Because of this underlying corruptness, our MC faces more struggles in his daily life, as he himself is a commoner who enjoys challenging the status quo. This one is probably the most different to Solo Leveling, with it being set within an academy and focusing more on training the other characters and becoming stronger. But our MC is equally as cool, and seeing him cherish his precious friends whom he thought he had lost is heartwarming. That was my 7 recommendations for webtoons like Solo Leveling. Hopefully you were able to find at least one new series to binge read whilst we wait for the return of season 2. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, and if you have any webtoon recommendations of your own, make sure to share them in the comments below. But until next time, make sure you guys stay awesome and peace out.